Hi everybody. Okay, welcome. I'm a few minutes late. I've had to change my positioning a few times. Welcome to those of you that are with me. And we're going to have a gentle prenatal yoga class. So if you are pregnant, I invite you to join us. Some of the things that you are going to want to have, you don't have to have, but they're nice to have, is a yoga mat or something that is comfortable for your knees, as well as a pillow can be nice to have. And then we are going to do something with a strap today. If you don't have a strap, you could even get a towel. That would work, a long towel. We're just going to be opening up the shoulders and the heart space, using something to really stretch us out. So if you do have this, great. And if you don't, go ahead and grab a towel. We can always make adjustments if you don't have something, but I think everybody has a towel. So I'm going to go ahead and take a minute and let you grab those things. And again, pillow, you can grab a pillow from the bed, from the couch, whatever you have handy. It could even be a blanket, just to kind of roll up. Okay. So to begin, I wanted to talk about something that's been coming to me today. And there is a saying, and it says, ships sail in over calm seas. And some of you know that my mother passed away a little over a year ago. And this is one of the signs that we actually had hanging on her wall. And she, for those of you that don't know, when my mother passed away, she had a sickness where basically her body completely shut down, but her mind was still totally fluid. And so she was living in her body, but unable to move any part of her body, unable to speak, but she still had complete consciousness. So imagine being trapped in your body. And I think about her, and I know she's free now, and I'm just reminded of how lucky we are to be able to move in our bodies, to have our health, to be here. But this saying that we had hanging over her bed, ships come in over smooth seas, she was able to indicate to me that she liked that. And when she could still speak, we talked about it. And what it was really about was just calming the mind, being able to calm the mind, because especially right now, for so many of us, myself included earlier today, there's so many unknowns, there's so much uncertainty, there's fear, there's so many emotions, so many high emotions going around, that it can be a really natural reaction to want to grab onto these things, to want to try to figure them out. And when in reality, the best thing that we can do is kind of step back and get some space when we're starting to get into those places of fear, of craziness, is really to step back and get some space between our thoughts and ourselves. And that's why I love this practice, because as we come into our bodies and out of our heads, we can start to create space and distance for new ideas, maybe new solutions that we hadn't thought about before to really come in. And it's just part of evolution. So I'd like you to, think about that as we go through the class today, that ships sail in over smooth seas, over calm seas. So to begin, if you have a pillow and it's comfortable for you, you can go ahead and put it underneath you, especially if you're a little further on into your pregnancy. It can feel really supportive. And let's go ahead and just come into this space. Go ahead and take a deep inhale and a big exhale. And just coming into your breath, noticing your breath. Noticing the quality of your breath. Is it shallow? Is there depth to it? And if not, can you bring some depth into that breath? So really just breathing down into your belly. Allowing your shoulders to fall back. And I'd like you to go ahead and imagine you growing roots out from the base of your sit bone down into the center of Mother Earth. And as you're going through the layers of Mother Earth, you're feeling the calmness, the stability, the groundedness of her energy, the coolness of the earth, the smell of fresh earth. And notice the support that you feel. And go ahead and start to imagine Mother Earth just breathing as you're sitting on top of her. Coming into a synchronicity, your breath with hers. And then I invite you to draw that energy up. Imagine that energy of Mother Earth coming up through the roots, up through Mother Earth, through your center, up through your spine, and out through the top of your head. And imagine a light coming down from the center of the sky, heaven, light energy. And imagine that coming down in through the top of your head, through the center of your spine. As you start to breathe both of these energies up from the heavens, down from the heavens, and up through Mother Earth. Notice how you feel with these two energies running through you. The calmness, the stability, and guidance. These energies, these supports are always available to us. And sending out gratitude. Gratitude for nature that shows us the resiliency in nature and reminds us that we too are nature, that we too are resilient and creative. And now coming back into your body and go ahead and bring both hands to heart center. And we're going to open the practice with the deep inhale and the word Om, O-M. So go ahead and take a deep inhale. Om. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring our palms to our knees in a seated pose. And now you can keep your eyes closed and start to rotate around to the right. And staying in that energy and that mindset that we just created. Being aware of the breath, moving with the breath. And the back. And as you come around to the front, really opening the chest, shining that heart energy out in front of you. And as you come around to the back, picturing the back of the heart, picturing doors to the back of your heart, just opening up, letting light, letting air in through there, in through that space. And then go ahead and we'll move in the opposite direction. Moving with the breath. And bringing your baby along for a little ride, remembering that they're enjoying this nice gentle movement. And if you want to just go ahead and work out any stiffness that you might be feeling. Feeling that space, opening up the hips. And you can start to make your rotation a little bit faster. Most importantly, always staying with your own breath. I'm here to guide you, but your body knows best. So listen to what it's telling you. And let your breath also be your guide. Okay, and we'll come to the slowness as we come back into center. Taking a deep inhale, rolling the shoulders back and down. Beaming the chest out, the heart out. Allowing light to come in and out. Bringing everything into balance. We're going to come over to tabletop pose. So you're going to come onto all fours, and since this class is about gaining new perspective, let's just focus on creating space in the body for new ways of seeing things to come in. So we're going to come onto all fours, and then we're going to start by just opening up the right arm and really reaching up, looking up, coming down, and doing the same on the other side. Moving with the breath. Noticing how this feels, especially if you've been in front of a computer. This can really open you up. Noticing if one side is tighter than the other. My right side is definitely tighter than my left. And again, moving with the breath. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Exhaling down. If you want to close your eyes, if that feels good, you can. Okay. And then let's go ahead and come into puppy pose. So we're going to stay on our knees and just walk the hands out. And instead of child pose, we're going to walk the hands out and kind of just put our head down, really feeling a stretch, especially in the upper arms, all the way into the chest. And if you notice any tightness, start to breathe into that area. Creating space with the breath, not by force. And then walking yourself back up into a tabletop position. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the right arm and we're going to start to circle it as we move the body. And again, remembering the energy that we tapped into in the beginning of class and moving that around our own space. The one thing that we do control is how we approach the things that we're confronted with. So really just imagining creating our energy to be a light. For ourselves, for others. And really just opening up. As we open the space in the body, we also open up new neural pathways in the brain. So we are actually changing ourselves as we do this. And then go ahead and let's do the other arm. I'm going to just come around. You don't have to. So that you can see. And then just as you're doing this, remember your baby inside of you. And what they're feeling right now. Remember that whatever hormones we have going through our body, whether they're of peace and happiness or stress and fear, we're also signaling to our baby the kind of world that they're going to be brought into. So really just acknowledging yourself for literally carving out this time to come into some peace. Okay, go ahead and keep moving with that arm. And then once again, we're going to come back into tabletop. Walk our arms out again, just getting a nice stretch. Really breathing into the upper back as well, creating space up there. And then when you're ready, you can walk yourself back up. And we're going to come into our first downward dog. Okay. And you can start to pedal your legs. You can move your hips. See how that feels. And really breathing here. To use sound inside of us. So there's something called the lion's breath, where you take a deep inhale and you, on the exhale, you actually stick your tongue out and make a noise. So this moves the vagus nerve inside of us, so it actually calms us as well and just gets out stuck energy. So a deep inhale, you can make whatever noise you want at home. Okay, so deep inhale. Let's just go ahead and do 2 more of those. Okay, and then pedaling the legs. Right leg up into the air, and then we're going to bring it through. So that we're sitting on our left knee. And then we're going to open up the sides a little bit more, keeping the left hand on the ground, right leg like a tabletop. And again, we're going to start to windmill the arm along with the leg, creating space. And utilizing the breath. You know what? We want to actually do it on the other side. Some of you that are more pregnant may have figured that out. So it's actually, you're going to be using the arm opposite the one that is on the front to make space for that belly. So right now you're opening up the arm, the shoulder, the legs. And go ahead and come to a standing pose. Let's take the left arm up in the air. Let's go ahead and pull on that. Creating space all down the left side. Really breathing into that space. And come down into a tabletop. Back into downward dog. Breathing here again. And this time we're going to bring, let's see, the right leg up and down. Bringing the left leg to the front. And we're going to do the other side. Moving with the breath, just really allowing yourself to open. Nice. move it back in the opposite direction. So coming forward, backwards. This doesn't have to be a rigid practice, just listen to what your body's asking for. Now we're going to come back up into a pose on one knee, bringing the right arm up and pulling on that with the breath, and just creating space in the side there. It's very hot where I am. Okay. Nice. Okay, and we're going to come onto all fours. We're going to bring our forearms down. And let's go ahead and we're just going to scoop the lower back. So it's like a cat-cow, except for we're on our forearms. So it's a really supported cat-cow. And really getting into the lower back and the pelvis, which often have a lot of pressure when we're pregnant. Okay, nice. And then let's start to do some figure eights. So just kind of gyrating the hips, lubricating the hips. You can come up onto all fours and do the same. And really stay in your body. You can be listening to my voice, but really also listening to your body. Feeling your body from the inside out. To really be in the experience that you're having. This is one of the most important things we can do, especially in birth, is just to really connect with ourselves on the inside. Okay. And then let's go ahead and we're going to bring the right leg out, and we're going to create more space by, this is called spider. Some people call it spider. So kind of circling and then just feeling into, again, the spaces that are tight. You can move in both directions, just supporting yourself with your arms. In some cultures, women, sit in a squat position very often when they're doing their work or they're outdoors. But as women in more Western culture, we don't tend to sit that way, which can be such a supportive position for us, especially when we're pregnant, just really opening ourselves up. So go ahead and bring the right leg back, and we're going to do the same on the left-hand side. So bringing the leg out, depending on how flexible you feel, you want it to be somewhat comfortable. You want it to be comfortable, not uncomfortable. But you also want to make sure that you're getting a stretch. So really feeling into what feels good. Keep going. Nice. Excellent. I'm sure you're doing wonderful, even though I can't see you. Okay. Now we're going to come back into puppy pose. Again, getting that stretch. You may want to keep your arms a little bit closer in and drop the head a little bit more. That kind of stretches us in a different way. And again, just breathing into those tight spaces. Really feeling good. All right. And let's go ahead and come into downward facing dog again. Moving the hips, noticing if we've created more space in there. Just with these last few movements. And you're going to slowly walk yourself up to a standing position. And allow yourself to hang for just a moment. Just let all your energy come down. Any heaviness, just any thoughts, just imagining them literally running off your back into the ground, being transformed into compost that eventually will become something beautiful, become new ground for new growth. And then walk yourself slowly up. If you need to stop for a moment, you can bring the hands to the hips. And then coming all the way up to a standing pose. And now with the energy that we just created, we're going to go ahead and just move the hips, bring our baby wide. So this is kind of just moving that energy through our body that we just created. And then moving in the opposite direction. Just moving that energy around. Okay. And coming to center, remembering to check back in with your breath. Your breath is always your guide. I'm here to support that, but ultimately, your breath is your own guide. We're going to go ahead and turn to our right. So turn your right foot out, and we're going to come into a warrior two position. Now, when you're pregnant, off the other. So, do what feels comfortable, where you feel supported. And we're going to bring hands to a heart. Let's go ahead and just bring the energy up through the center of us and around us. Up, brushing over your belly, over your baby. Up to your higher self, down and around you. Creating the space for you and your baby. And really moving with your breath. Remembering too that in Chinese medicine, pregnancy is a time of yin energy. So it is actually really a time of being still. And maybe taking on that perspective that for right now, there is this opportunity when the whole world has literally come to a standstill. So you can rest, you can be in the stillness of this energy. And now coming back into warrior two. Go ahead and straighten the right leg. And we're going to come into triangle pose. So straighten the arms, reaching the right arm down to the earth, and the left hand up to the sky. Tapping into your breath, looking up to our higher selves for guidance at this time. And then coming up slowly, pivoting in a little bit. Again, just moving the hips, keeping them soft. So go ahead and turn to the left. So turning the left foot out, the right foot is perpendicular. And we're going to come into warrior two. All of us right now need to have some warrior in us, especially. And sometimes that means just being willing to sit in our strength when so much is going on around us. Being willing to be still even when it's uncomfortable. And wow, we're going to come into prayer pose. And go ahead and let's bring the energy up again that we've created, remembering our intention. Ships come in over smoothies. So giving space for all of us, for all the parts of us, and letting the parts go that we're ready to let go at this moment. Really staying with the breath. Breathing up and out. One more time. Coming up into a standing pose and then down into side triangle. So reaching the left hand down and the right hand up to the sky. Really allowing the front of you to open, the back of you to open. And you can literally picture a screen door in front of you and the back of your heart. Just allowing a fresh breeze to move through that space, having gratitude for this body, gratitude to be able to move in the ways that we want to move, that we can tell our body to move in a certain way and it will do so. And the same is true of our mind when we practice calming the mind. Now go ahead and come up into a standing pose. Bring your hands to heart center. Feeling the heart, feeling the pulse of your heart. Noticing how you feel in this moment. Notice how just moving your body changes our state of being. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and bring our feet in slightly. And now we're going to do some squats, but we're going to actually pretend that you're picking up your baby. So legs are a little bit wider than hip distance apart. And you want to keep them slightly bent. Some of you may not even feel comfortable going all the way down, depending on how far along in your pregnancy you are. Others of you might be able to go ahead and scoop your baby up and bring them in. So go ahead and scoop them up and bring your baby in. You bring your hands down alongside your baby, thanking them for being here, acknowledging the awesome channel that you are at this time. These can really help to strengthen the pelvic floor, which is important when you're pregnant. Okay, and let's do just a couple more. Brushing your hands over your belly. And the last one, and we'll come into prayer position. And then come down into a squat. And some of you might have your belly right here. And you might want to put one hand underneath your belly, whatever is comfortable. Others of you that are earlier on, you may want to just bring your hands to prayer pose, and you can really just open up your space. So using your arms to open your legs. Again, really acknowledging the energy of Mother Earth, of nature, recognizing that you too are nature, that we as individuals, as a collective, have our cycles of life and death. And offering gratitude for the expansion that these cycles bring. Okay. All right, so I mentioned having a strap or a towel. So if you have a strap or a towel, go ahead, and we're going to come into a standing position slowly. So push yourself up, allowing yourself to hang for just a moment. And then coming up slowly with your strap or towel. And let's go ahead and take your strap. If you have a strap, it's probably flexible, or if you have one that's not stretchy, you may have to slide your hands alongside the strap in order for it to go back behind you. So again, just going with the theme of creating space to gain new perspective, go ahead and bring your arms up, and then you can bring them slowly behind you, moving left to right, just feeling how this feels to open. And you can bring your arms all the way down the back. So just playing with this a little bit to really feel into the spaces that need some opening. So down here might be, your arms might be really limp. But if you bring them up slightly, you might get some tension and just feel spaces in ways that we don't always move our arms. Notice how that just brings out our chest. Appreciating all the opening that's happening. Even as you open up, I can feel this just pulling my, pulling up from right in here, from the ribs. So just breathing into these spaces. And we'll come and circle back down. Coming back down to a forward hanging position. Go ahead and you can move your strap or your towel over to the side. Just come into ragdoll. You can move back and forth. Just shaking out any tightness. And then we're going to come into a seated position. And we're going to do an exercise called a keep up exercise. And this exercise that helped me so much in my own birth, in the birth of my daughter. But it's an exercise for really building our internal strength. So I'm going to show you what this looks like, and it's an exercise we do for 3 minutes. And so it's bringing the arms out to the side. I'm not fully in the camera, but basically my arms are really straight as they can be, and it's rapid up and down movements, very small range of length up and down. So it's rapid movements up and down. And we're going to do that for 3 minutes. And we're going to, once you feel that you're in the hang of it and comfortable with it, you can close your eyes. And I invite you to focus on the third eye, or the center of the forehead. And the reason that we focus there is because where we focus our attention is where energy goes. So if we don't really have an internal gaze, our mind can really easily jump around. And this is actually more a mental exercise than anything. So closing the eyes, focusing on the third eye, and just keeping your internal gaze there as you do this exercise. And I invite you to pay attention to the thoughts that you're telling yourself. Are you telling yourself, oh my goodness, this is so hard, oh, I can't do this? Or do you notice that, that it's getting a little bit intense? And can you redirect your focus? Instead of focusing on the intensity in your arms, can you bring your attention to your third eye and just breathe through this? Or tell yourself, I can do this. I am strong. I am powerful. So really, so much of this exercise is being in the intensity of this particular exercise, but it relates to life, and being able to support your own mindset no matter what's going on. So let's go ahead and we'll begin. Okay, so arms out to the side. Your hands look like this. I know you can't totally see right now. Remembering to breathe. Remember the internal gaze. It's at the center of the forehead. This exercise helped me more than anything else in my labor. Because it is work, but it doesn't have to be painful. So let's train our minds right now to really work for us, not against us. So what are the thoughts you're telling yourself? You might be starting to feel the intensity of this. And if you need to come out, go ahead and come out, but then come right back in. One of the things I told myself is I am so much, because we're spirit too. Keep going, we're more than halfway through it. You're doing great. Again, if you need to come out, that's fine. This is an exercise that you can build up to, but see if you can stay in it. Even if you have to slow down a little bit. Keep going. You're doing great. Keeping the focus on the center of the forehead. Keeping those arms pulsing. Keep going. I'm going to just check the time, but keep going. Keep going, keep going. You're doing great. Less than a minute. Keep going. Excellent. Just 30 more seconds. Keep going. And I don't want you to just drop out of this either. When we're finished, I want you to extend your arms out to the side and take a deep breath in. Keep going. We have 10 more seconds. Keep going. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, deep inhale, stretching the arms out to the side. And then with the exhale, bringing them down slowly with awareness. And staying internal. Really noticing the energy that exercise stirred up inside of you. Noticing the energy around you. How it felt at the beginning of this class. Noticing how you feel now. Just staying with that for a moment, keeping your eyes closed for a moment. Okay, and when you're ready, you can open the eyes. Congratulations. So that is a keep-up exercise that you can do at any point to really just help you. It builds your arm strength for sure, but it also really builds the strength of the mind. It looks like a simple exercise, but it can really challenge us. And if it was easy, you can build that up to 5 minutes. If it was really difficult, which I imagine for a lot of people it is, you can start with a minute if you need to, or 2 minutes. Okay, so now let's go ahead and start to roll the head. Getting out all the energy kinks. Worked with most of the body. Now just working with the neck. And rolling back the other direction. I hear lots of cracking in my neck. And just being aware not to keep it just a neck movement, but really feeling how that opens up the rest of the body as you roll your neck. And as you roll it forward, really pulls throughout the upper back in a good way, stretching it. Maybe going a little bit slower. And then just noticing how good it feels to be in sync with our movement, to be present to each movement. To have the body and the mind as one. And then coming back to center. Bringing a slight smile to your face, because that always helps. And let's go ahead and bring the right leg out to the side. And you can bring your left foot in, right leg out. If you can reach your toes, you can go ahead and take your peace fingers and grab your big toe if that's available to you, and if it's not, that's fine too. Yoga is all about just meeting yourself, meeting your body where you're at. So bringing the left arm up, and if you can bring it around, that's great. If not, that's totally fine. The biggest thing is we don't want to just collapse right now. We want to, again, stay open. So if it's up here, that's fine. And then maybe just bringing your head up. Just feeling that stretch. Sending out some gratitude again for making time to do this. Breathing yourself back up to a seated position. Bringing the right leg in and the left leg out. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So your left peace hand fingers, if you can lock them with your toes, that's great. If not, that's fine. And bringing the right arm up and over. Again, just really meeting your body wherever it's at. That's the most loving thing. So again, if it's up here, that's great. Just being honest with ourselves and meeting ourselves where we're at. Okay, beautiful. Go ahead and you come into Shavasana. And if you're pregnant, you're going to want to lay on your left hand side is the most supportive. And you can go ahead and take a pillow and put it between your legs using your left arm as a pillow. Okay. So just finding a position that's comfortable for you. If you're not pregnant and you happen to be doing this, you can also just lie on your back. And we're going to take this time to allow the energy of this practice to integrate. This is actually the most important posture. Sometimes learning to be still can be one of the most difficult things. I know for me, it can be. Just coming into quiet. And staying in a position on the ground. I'd like you to just call to mind maybe a favorite space out in nature that you like to go to. Maybe it's somewhere on the top of a mountain. Maybe it's the ocean. Maybe it's somewhere in the woods. And just start to imagine yourself there. And notice what the ground below you is like. Is it soft and prickly with fresh grass? Is there cool sand beneath your skin? And notice, is it a sunny day? Do you feel the sun on your skin? Or is it overcast? And you're enjoying the feeling of not having to be out and about, but taking it easy. Start to notice the nature around you. And again, as you're lying there, as you're lying here, start to feel those points of contact where your sit bones come in contact with the earth. And send some gratitude out to Mother Earth for the support she gives us. And now start to just become attuned to the subtlety of Mother Earth as you notice that she too is alive beneath us. She too is breathing below us. And as our breath goes up and down, we start to come into sync, into the synchronicity of the breathing of Mother Earth below us. You really feel the interconnectedness of yourself with this entire web of life. And honor yourself for choosing to do something that is supportive to yourself and therefore is supportive to all humanity. The world needs more grounded individuals. And go ahead and come back into your body, into your breath. Bringing some movement into your fingers, into your toes. And since you're home, if you prefer to stay on the ground, that's fine too. And if not, if you're ready to come up, go ahead and push yourself up into a seated position. Go ahead and stretch your arms out. Bringing the palms to the knees. If you like, you can use your pillow to sit on. And we're going to close our practice with Satnam, which means true identity in Sanskrit. And again, you're going to picture the energy coming up and through you, and then coming out through the center of your forehead on Nam. So Sat, Nam. And bringing your hands to the center of your heart, warming up the palms. And recalling the intention of our practice that we began with today, which was to create a new perspective, to create a shift by making space in our body and mind, remembering that ships sail in over a smooth sea. One of the greatest things that we can do right now is bring a calmness and a peacefulness to our internal environment. And as you go out into the rest of your day, may you emanate this peace from you, from within. And we'll close with the Satnam. So go ahead and take a deep inhale. Nam. Thank you everybody for joining me. And remembering the peace that you are cultivating in yourself, you're also cultivating within your baby, within your belly. And as you go out to those around you, you can bring this peace with you as well. And especially during this time, if you're going out into your day, remember to make eye contact with people. Maybe we can't hug, but we can look people in the eye. We can send a smile when we pull down our masks. So remember to be human, and thank you everybody for joining me. Have a great day. Good to see everybody. Nice to see you, Annie. Maria. Okay. Thanks everybody for joining. And if you have questions, definitely feel free to reach out. And I will just add that I am going to be starting my embodied birth program in just a couple of weeks. So for any of you that are currently pregnant, or if you know somebody that is, I'm going to be starting a 3-month-long program. So it's going to be doing birth training, also creating a maternity leave program, connecting you with other pregnant women. So it'll be a whole lot of support and information, and a really beautiful way to go through pregnancy, especially during this time when so many of us are a little bit more isolated than we normally might be. All right, and if you have questions about your yoga practice or anything like that, for any reason, feel free to reach out. I am super happy to be able to serve however I can. And we'll see you all soon. Have a great day, everybody.